Elizabeth mentioned that one of the focuses for the board has been around impact investing. And impact investing, very simply put, is the idea that you can generate both a financial return and a social return at the same time. And foundations are an obvious partner in impact investing because the goal of a foundation is to do good. And so the idea of saying some of the money that is currently sitting in endowed funds that's invested in the public markets or the public bonds, what if we could invest that where we generate a financial return but also generate a social return? And so, as Elizabeth mentioned, the board and the community foundation have been making impact investments in our community. But we had an interesting situation come to us over the past year. Many of you will know that House of Friendship acquired a property in Cambridge. They did a fundraising campaign where they raised about $1.6 million in philanthropic funds to support the construction of that new facility. But a large part because of the opioid crisis, it became very apparent that the minute that facility opened, it would be full. It would be, there was not enough capacity for the need. And so in some conversations between House of Friendship and some folks around the Barn Raisers Council, House of Friendship said, we can build a second story, but it would take $1 million, and we're thinking about going out to borrow that $1 million. That led to a conversation with the Community Foundation saying, is there a role for the Community Foundation where the Community Foundation can play an active role in helping House of Friendship? And so the Board of Directors provided a grant to House of Friendship to allow them to engage the team at the Mars Centre for Impact Investing. And what the Mars team did was did a feasibility study to say, what if, instead of going to a bank, what if you went to members of the community and said to them, how about you invest in our project? Not donate to our project, but invest in our project. And so Mars put together the framework of an investment. They looked at what the appropriate rates of return would be. How should the investment be structured? Should it be RRSP eligible? Should it be TFSA eligible? Things like that. And then the board of the Community Foundation went a step further and said, if we're going to do this, we think it's important we do it in a way that the community can learn from this. And so commissioned Mars throughout the entire process to develop a case study and to document every part of the decision-making process working with House of Friendship. And then the Community Foundation played an active role in helping seek investors and others, talking about this opportunity. And so in short, House of Friendship ended up doing a community bond whereby $1.2 million was raised, not philanthropically, but by people in this community lending money to the House of Friendship with a repayment on that, with an interest rate on that. And shortly you'll see us release the case study that Mars has done so that other organizations in our community can say, hey, if this makes sense for me, how do I go about it? How do I go about doing a community bond? How do I go about asking people to lend me money instead of giving me money? And so I think the board is absolutely thrilled because we've gone from being market takers in terms of looking at deals to being a market maker where we're actually facilitating a transaction, where we worked with House of Friendship to say, how can we bring this community together? The Community Foundation then went the next step and said, we will be the lead investor on this investment. And so we will coordinate all the other investors that are involved. What I think is so outstanding for our community is the goal was only to raise $1 million, and we ended up at 1.2, and in fact had to cut it off. The other thing that I think has been so exciting is the number of conversations that I know Elizabeth has had with other organizations, that I've had with other organizations who have said, hey, would this be appropriate for us? And I think you'd be surprised at some of the nonprofit and charitable organizations in our community who are looking today, particularly at a time when government funding is at risk and government funding is being cut, to say, hey, is there an alternative where I could actually go and seek a loan or other sort of financing instrument versus simply having to rely on either government funding or philanthropy? And then the other thing that I think was so great about this project is almost the entire $1 million+ that's invested in House of Friendship were people who did not previously have a relationship with House of Friendship or did not previously have a relationship with the Kitchener-Waterloo Community Foundation. These are new people who are becoming actively involved. People who said, I have money sitting in a fixed income piece of my portfolio that is generating a return either in T-bills or Canada Savings bonds or a bond at a bank, but what if I could get a similar return and actually do good for my community. So we have actually engaged a whole bunch of new people who will be engaged in this community. So I know I speak on behalf of the board. A huge thank you to the team, Elizabeth and the team at the foundation, and a huge thank you to this community who, when we asked them, responded the way this community always does, by saying we're going to be more innovative, we're going to go a step further than most other communities. So thank you very much for letting me share the story.